The Kumeyaay people have been a part of this land. This land has nourished, healed, protected, and embraced them for many generations in a relationship of balance and harmony. As members of the San Diego community and inhabitants of Maatapai, Kumeyaay territory, we acknowledge its legacy. We promote this balance and harmony. We find inspiration from this land, the land of the Kumeyaay. I want to remind my fellow commissioners that you have an emailed copy of our agenda and meeting minutes and other background materials. And tonight you also have an additional script for a Brown Act remote appearance. Is that what that's what it's called, Gerald? Okay, so it's an addendum to the Brown Act, I guess, that
That is
gives it,
correct.
and Gerald will be going over that shortly. Now our commissioner roll call. Vice Chair Tyler Duncan.
Here.
Secretary Ryan Trabuco. Oh, that's your job. I'm sorry. No, you do it. I've been doing it, but this is a little change we're doing, so.
Yes. Chair Thomas,
I'm here.
Commissioner Olympian Beltran is excused for tonight. Commissioner Ricky Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Sarah Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Faye Desky-Weil,
Here.
Commissioner Jessica Diaz-Ramon,
Here.
Commissioner M.H. Fields,
Here.
Commissioner Legaspi is excused. Commissioner Purcell, I believe, also notified us that you will not be here tonight. Commissioner and Secretary Ryan Trabuco,
Here.
Commissioner Walker,
On our way.
on our way. All right, and then Commissioner Ramirez.
Present.
Perfect.
Thank you. We have two action items that we're going to take up this evening. Can I get a motion to approve our minutes from our February February minutes?
So moved.
Thank you so much. Faye Desky-Weil, and second, Commission, oh,
Thomas, actually, I wanted to add my name as the excused absence. I wasn't here on February 21st.
okay.
Does that work?
Noted.
Noted?
Yeah.
Noted.
We'll have a discussion about that in a little bit. Actually, there's some changes that are going on with how that is done. So we'll go through that. And a second for the motion to approve minutes.
So moved.
Thank you. Tyler Duncan.
May we have a roll call on the approval of the minutes,
Sure.
Chair?
All those in favor to approve the minutes? Let's start off with Ricky Brown, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Trabuco,
I'll abstain since I wasn't here.
Commissioner Field,
Yes.
Commissioner Desky-Weil,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Abstain since I wasn't here.
Commissioner Brown.
Similarly, abstain, wasn't here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Tyler Duncan.
Yes.
Thank you. Chair Emeritus
No, thank
Murray
you. My
Ramirez.
proper title. Present. Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any opposed? Okay, we got the abstentions. Okay, thank you. Minutes are approved. Our second motion is to move this meeting to the third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. rather than our 5:30 meeting that we've been doing. So it would start at 6 p.m. as, well, we can do the discussion. Can I get a motion to approve?
So
Thank-
moved.
Thank you. And second by Trabuco, Commissioner Trabuco. All right, so discussion. What we would like to do is we'd like to move this to 6 o'clock. XCOM will try and craft the meeting so that we only take up an hour and 15 to an hour and a half of your time. So we'll all be out of here by 7:30 rather than lingering on. There may be some cases where we get out earlier and there may be some cases where we get out later, of course. Anybody have anything to add to discussion? Okay, then let's take a vote on that. All those in favor, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Trabuco,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields, Commissioner Desky-Wild,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Vice Chair Tom Munson,
Yes.
and Chair Emeritus
Yes.
Ray Ramirez. Thank you. Motion, any opposition? All right, no abstentions. Motion passes. So great. Gives us all another half an hour to get here, which I know one commissioner would have really appreciated tonight. So this is where, can I mention what I was talking about earlier? So I asked Gerald Brown if we could start counting absences from this point on, from the 6 o'clock change on, since that was a hardship for everyone. And, traffic and that kind of thing really got in the way. So I think we're okay with that. We're going to start counting absences because there's you have 2 excused absences, and then we'll go into the changes that are happening with that also. But you have 2 excused absences, and the third one, we have to have a conversation about staying on the board, or on the commission. Okay. Executive Director Gerald Brown, would you like to inform us on agenda and non-agenda public comment?
Yes,
Thank you.
Chair, I surely would. As follows, public comment on agenda items. If you wish to address the board on an item for today's meeting, please complete and submit a speaker form before the board. Here's the agenda item. You will be called at the time of the item is heard. Public comments on matter not on the agenda. You may address the board on any matter not listed on today's agenda. Please complete and submit a speaker form. However, California open meeting law does not permit the board to discuss or take action on the matter at today's meeting. At its discretion, the board may add the item to a future meeting agenda or refer the matter to staff or committee. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker at the discretion of the chair. If a large number of people wish to speak on the same item, comments may be limited to a set period of time per item. If you are online, you must have filled out an agenda online, and it must have been forwarded to me before today's meeting in order to make agenda comments. We will do our best. You can forward them to me. I will turn around and forward them to the chair and to the committee that they need to go. There you go.
Thank you, Director Brown. Is there any non-agenda public comment this evening?
There is none.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner.
I have some concerns. I received an email, as I think Reverend Brown did, and the officers of Commissioner Ricky Brown requesting a guest speaker on what was on the fentanyl, which I thought would be very interesting. What I'm concerned about is that she didn't hear back. She made it on March 5th. Usually, you would put it on the agenda item and grant that request, especially a request. I think that it was a very good topic.
Yeah, and
What happened with
we
that?
can still continue to have, or to entertain having that person here. This meeting was going to be packed this evening because we had the city attorney, deputy city attorney, who is going to be here to discuss a bunch of topics with us. And at the last minute, they had to cancel. We have a large amount of subcommittee stuff to go over, so we didn't have the time for that. And I apologize. I should have been I should have reached back out to you, or Director Brown should have reached back out to you, but yeah, we just did not have enough time to fit it into this meeting. So
And while
apologies.
I think that's wonderful that you apologize, I think it's very important that you do reach back to the person that requests the speaker, because she already had contacted the speaker of the possibility. So then it becomes an embarrassing situation.
Sure.
That thing. So I appreciate that you will start responding back that no, the meeting is packed, maybe next meeting or so. Can we have her at the next meeting? Is a lady, I think you said?
Yes, female.
Can we have her at the
Yes,
next meeting to
yes,
talk
please.
about Ben? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll bring it up before XCOM and try and get that scheduled and work with you, Ricky, on making sure that she's still available. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if I may, Commissioner Brown, I'm sorry. I missed that. I get emails from you, and in the course of my day, I should in fact have picked that up, but I didn't. Now, where's that person from again? And
She is a mother.
would you please speak in the mic?
She's a mom whose son was killed by an overdose of fentanyl. She's spoken for the DA and in front of Mayor Gloria as well.
Mhm.
And she has the lived experience of what can happen to someone that dies from fentanyl. And I think the experience and how it hasn't worked for her through the justice system
Mhm.
would be great for us to know, and maybe some way we could help other families that children die from fentanyl, and, we would have that education and information to move forward.
Is she associated with an organization?
I hate this. She's just started her own organization, so she's been doing this for about going to schools and anywhere
Oh.
she can speak for about a year now.
Thank you.
Okay, and so what I'll do is, and if you get me that name, I will, of course, bring it to XCOM, and they will make a decision. Most likely, it's going to be in the affirmative, because we want to get folks like that to come to the commission. Also, if you don't mind, I will also reach out to the DA's office, and we could possibly have a presentation from either the DA or the chief deputy DA as well, to kind of give us a round view of why, the justice system did not work for this lady and how it can be improved, if that's okay with the commission.
I would say first, let me speak to her, because she has a good working relationship with the DA, and I wouldn't want to jeopardize that, even though it hasn't worked out perfectly for her. But she is helping other people through the DA's office. So being a survivor myself, that can sometimes hinder how you proceed and how things go for you, as I'm sure you all know.
Well, in all due respects, I disagree. I think by having the district attorney's representative here and hearing this, then we can question the district attorney. The district attorney won't react unless there is a commission such as this and people that are asking these questions. So I think that it would be pretty good to have a representative of the district attorney, because I'm interested in being able to ask them, why did this fall through the cracks? How does this system work?
I'm not saying not have them. I just want to speak to her. and
Oh,
make sure
okay.
she feels comfortable being here with them and saying what she
Yeah.
needs to say.
I get it. Thank you.
By all means, so I will follow the direction of the chair and the XCOM committee, and then of course we'll have additional discussion. The chair has been very open to discussion on certain issues, and we don't want to close anybody out. And I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Brown, that you have to make the person feel comfortable to really have that conversation. And so we will govern ourselves accordingly, and I'll do whatever direction of the chair, vice chair, and Chair Emeritus seems as for us to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so Standing Committee, Discrimination and Equal Protection, Executive Director Gerald Brown. In working through these subcommittees, we came across a interesting part, which is the one thing that we are charted to do in our bylaws is to hold the standing committee of a discrimination and equal protection for San Diegans. So Gerald, can you fill us in on that?
I will, Mr. Chair, and I will also defer to the Vice Chair as well, because he is in fact ruling over the committee. And one of the things that we brought in, and I'll let the Vice Chair, if he would take it from this point forward, is that the part of our main mission as the Human Relations Commission is to deal with those issues of discrimination and fair hiring and housing protection that are up under the law. And this is in working with the California Law on Discrimination, also the California Civil, if you will, Civil Division as well. And so we saw this, and one of the things we'd always been saying, it's a subcommittee, but it's much, much more important than a subcommittee. It is, in fact, the mission of the Human Relations Commission to mediate, conciliation, these types of things that come up. We have discrimination complaints that are coming in from all over the county of San Diego. We, for the most part, deal with those that are in the jurisdiction of San Diego. Some are valid complaints. We treat each and every one of them as though they are, in fact, valid until we find out otherwise. We try to connect people with resources that are there. With the office and the commission that we have, we can go directly to the mayor's office. And I'll give you some examples of complaints that we just received. And I'm going back over and taking a look at those complaints that came in from as far as October of last year. We're taking a look at all those complaints. We're calling folks, and guess what? They are calling us back. We're sending them emails. They are emailing us back because they want the opportunity for their voices to be heard. And this commission is the place where their voices can be heard. We may not agree with everything that's being said, but at the same time, we offer them the fairness of being heard. And sometimes that's what folks need. I'll toss this over to the Vice Chair, to Chair Duncan, who organized and brought the committee together.
Thank you so much for that. Everyone, thank you to the commissioners who have participated in this standing committee. So an update is we have moved this from a subcommittee now to a standing committee based off of our bylaws. So I would like to take an opportunity for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to read all of our bylaws. I do want to go ahead and cite Article 1 out of our bylaws. The stated purpose and intent of the San Diego City Council was to establish the Human Relations Commission to consult with and advise the mayor, city council, and city manager on methods of assuring and protecting the rights of all residents of the city of San Diego to equal economic, political, educational opportunities, to equal accommodations in all business establishments in the city, and equal service and protection by public agencies. The Human Relations Commission was also created for the purposes of investigating and attempting to resolve discrimination complaints through the use of conciliation and/or mediation, and preparing and distributing educational and informational material relating to prejudice and discrimination, and to recommend ways of eliminating such prejudice and discrimination. So based off of that being Article 1 in our bylaws, we did receive the recommendation from the City Council to go ahead and move that to a standing committee. So that has been established. Current standing committee members consist of myself, Commissioner Detsky-Weil, Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Ricky Brown, as well as Chair Thomas. So we had our first meeting this past week, actually, on March 18th of 2024, and we discussed the new complaint process. So how the complaint process will work is the complaints will be received via email, via phone, or through the complaint process as far as inputting a complaint on the HRC websites. Those complaints will be directly received by our executive director and then funneled down to that standing committee. The standing committee will then have an opportunity to discuss and review those complaints. We talked about the critical nature after the feedback that we received from the mayor's office of the complaints, and the sensitivity to some of the topics that may be discussed or disclosed. So we discussed a couple of different methods of how we we would funnel those complaints. So complaints that were in our purview, complaints that were necessarily within our city, and maybe potentially what resources or ways we could receive those complaints and have a collaborative document so that we're able to offer our feedback or different resources along the way. We also propose different methods of being able to present that information to the HRC while remaining and kind of keeping that confidentiality and sensitivity of the complaints. That will likely look like reporting the numbers of complaints that have been received, if action has been taken, the number of complaints that were referred out to potential other agencies, and other things along those lines. They will be really high-level recommendations or high-level work on what we'll be doing. Most of the actual investigation, mediation, et cetera, will be coming directly and working through in the standing committee. We also discussed methods of training that's going to be needed for being able to absorb this information and understand. So working with our legal representatives through the city, as well as we had talked about other ways of maybe working with the NCRC or other agencies on de-escalation techniques, conflict resolution techniques, and honestly being able to just hold space for individuals. So those were some of the topics that we discussed. We will be meeting the second Wednesday of every month from 5:30 to 6:30 as far as our standing time there. And we also discussed a little bit about infrastructure. So there is an HRC email that individuals have access to. So you're able to email us about events, complaints, anything in regards to soliciting support from the Human Relations Commission. We talked about maybe if there was an opportunity to also get a standing phone number or a mailbox or things along those ways. So we're able to cover different avenues for individuals to be able to communicate with us. So that was a little bit of what we covered during our first standing committee, now our first standing committee meeting. For the commissioners that were present, anything I missed, any feedback you want to provide along the way?
I think you covered it for the most part.
Happy to hear. So,
Good meeting.
thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I really appreciate the commissioners that were able to participate, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate with the commission and let you know that we are doing the work as designed by our bylaws.
And-
I have a couple of
Yes.
questions. One, that conflicts with our XCOM time.
Okay. I said second
Can work
Wednesday. It
on
might
that.
have been first Wednesday,
Monday was, I think, the day.
the day that we decided.
Yes.
So standing meeting to be determined. I don't have all my notes in
Okay.
front of me. Mhm.
That's all right. Second thing is, I'm sure the commissioners that are not on that commission, unlike a subcommittee, are going to be interested in what kinds of, so we are going to be able to work towards classifying maybe some of them, some of the ways that people are reaching out to us. If we see a spike in sort of discrimination that has to do with Asian or Pacific Islander hate crimes or Jewish or Muslim hate crimes, and we want to know that that's rising on our list. I'm sure that people are going to, other commissioners who don't serve on that standing commission will want to know. And I also think that the follow-up is really important also, and what happens to that. So one of the things is if we kick it down to another board or commission, or we kick it to the city attorney, we want to stay in touch with them and then report that information back to this commission also.
Yes, I think that's great consideration there. Yes, what I heard then is that maybe high-level topics. So if there are specific topics or demographics that are being targeted, we want to make sure that the commission is aware of that pulse, and maybe even potentially if there's a certain neighborhood or something that there's a trend that we're able to identify, as well as outcomes. We want to be able to track outcomes and referrals. Yes. Any other feedback?
Yes, Commissioner, sorry, Chair Emeritus.
Reverend Brown, you stated that there have been complaints since October, I believe.
Yes.
Can you estimate how many complaints have been coming in, like monthly or a total since October?
We have received about, I want to say about 30 complaints, okay, in different areas. And my predecessor did a great job of contacting those folks, okay, and getting back. Some were found to be valid and some were found not necessarily valid because a lot of times people write in and they don't provide all the information or phone number is wrong or something like that. So we've had about 30 or so that came in for different reasons. Some we forwarded on to the appropriate person that would give them a response to help them. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going back all the way to follow and find out which have been responded to. We definitely have to be known as a commission that will in fact get back to you. We may not give you the answer you want, but we will in fact get back to you. And so it has been done, but it hasn't been documented maybe the way that we want to, and the commission has not been kept informed. And so a part of this new standing commission is the fact that we will have 5 members of the commission that are there. And again, as Vice Chair Duncan has already expressed, there is a certain amount of privacy, confidentiality that goes along with these things. So we will give the rest of the commission the report, a overview, if you will, of what the report was. The commissioners that are there will in fact see, and this is what I'm doing a little bit different. I'm going to send you the complaints so that you will see, and then we will discuss them and how the best way to serve them. The ones that I can, in fact, like for example, we had a gentleman, I'm giving you an example of this. We had a gentleman that I found his complaint. He did not send it in through the website. He sent it in through the HRC email that he found. He sent it in that way, long 2 or 3 page complaint. And basically, he felt like he was discriminated against for housing. The city had given him, supposedly during COVID, had given him 2 checks to take care of his rent. However, that was captured, according to him, it was alleged that the property managers kept the check and didn't tell the landowner. Again, this was alleged. It's nothing that we found to be true or not. I, in turn, got in contact with our director, with Chida Warren Darby. Chida, in fact, I forwarded over the information to her. She forwarded over to the people in housing, and we are in contact with the folks at the San Diego Housing Commission. Because if there was some malfeasance there, we want to be able to make sure that we know what's going on. Additionally, I read the notes and I will send back, and I did with this person, I sent back a request, can I talk to you in person? Because again, I want to hear what you have to say. I know what I'm reading on the page. I need to hear what you have to say. Then I also have to investigate with the other group that's out there what's going on, what do they have to say about the matter. We get every side of the story and we're searching for the truth. And so the commissioners that are on this commission will in fact see this. And hopefully we'll be able to make a decision on how to move forward as a body with this. These reports will be brought to you at our commission meetings. And again, we need everybody's input on this.
Well, I am sure that we all appreciate you taking the time, especially going back to October, because I think it's very important that that communication is there, and I'm sure that they appreciate that you got back to them. So thank you for that.
Just following up on Commissioner Ramirez's question, the other part of this is we get a lot of complaints that come from the county, which is outside of the city of San Diego and our jurisdiction. So we should have a discussion also about that and how we refer that. And you would know because you're part of the
No, with the current county commission is suspended.
right. So how that's dealt with should be discussed. And
Well, there was on the county when we were,
yeah,
and there was a whole process, and we have like 5 staff members on the county level, so it was well handled.
yeah,
But right now, it's kind of
yep.
in the
Okay.
gray.
You can do that. Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Ramirez, do you think that there's an opportunity or a space to communicate with the county staff who are attached to the HRC while it is currently in its um,
Hibernation.
hibernation?
Well, that's a new
Hibernation.
word that I haven't heard.
I just want to make sure that if we're making any referrals, they don't fall through the cracks. That's,
Yeah, well, I think that the chair and the vice chair can nicely, in a diplomatic way, communicate to the county staff if there's any way that you guys, this is commission can help, and I'm sure they would appreciate that. You're absolutely right. I'm sure because it was stacking up. We all know that the biggest hate crimes, the biggest events, as Reverend Brown said, is the county. And I've been really concerned that some others of this is all falling through the cracks because no one is responding that much because there's so much going on with the politics of it, sad to say.
Commissioner Roman.
Thank you, Chair Thomas. Well, I had a follow-up question for Vice Chair Duncan, and it relates to what Reverend Brown was saying about keeping this information, keeping track of it, storing it. I'm just curious about how is it that the information is being tracked, and how is it kept confidential? Because it's so easy to hack into these, systems and these files, and so for the complaints, that's a big concern. And then how do you protect also the confidentiality of the commissioners who are involved in analyzing and dealing with these on a case-by-case basis?
Yes, great question.
Tracking.
We talked a lot about infrastructure. Currently, they are being housed with our executive directors, so they haven't really gone outside of that purview yet. Right now, we're trying to develop if there's going to be a way for us to all have access, for instance, to the HRC email so that we can respond as an entity, or if there's a way of there being a general mailbox so that we're able to communicate as well as receive voicemails or things along those lines from any type of complainants. Infrastructure is something that we're still working on and in close talks with the city. We also did discuss in our subcommittee or in our standing committee meeting a little bit about complaints that will fall outside of our purview, and how while we may not necessarily be working on them directly, we do still believe that it's important for them to be reviewed and to be brought to the commission for other ways to refer them. So for instance, complaints that are received from the county or that may be specific to specifically something like housing, like Reverend Brown had mentioned. So really high level, we're still building from the ground up, as this is not something that has previously been followed through with by the commission yet.
Thank you.
Commissioner Deski-Lyle.
Right now, there's a spreadsheet where we're keeping track of the different issues. And I'm sorry, that's being kept in the office. So, yeah. But we still have to work on it a little bit.
I think one of Commissioner Roman's, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, concern is that if you, Faye, reach out to Mr. So-and-so about his complaint, and then your name gets dragged into it, how are we protecting you from reprisal from the person that he's making the complaint against? So,
Definitely part of it, the how are we storing this, how are we tracking this information that could be very confidential, and then also, yes, how do we protect the identity of the commissioners who are sort of part of the investigation so that their names are not connected to the case-by-case situations that we're.
Thank you for all of the commissioners' input. What I'm hearing then is security as far as technology, as well as the actual nature of the complaints. And then again, going back to our infrastructure and holding that confidentiality, which we're still working through what resources are available for that.
yeah. We do know that hate against elected officials and city officials is up and growing. There's more and more anger towards, people in government. So, yeah, we want to make sure that we protect everybody here, so.
And if I could say so, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair.
Of course.
If something comes back, the municipal code directs the investigating officer, in this case, to be the executive director. So it points back to me to make sure that I investigate. The committee is there as an advisory to the mayor, to the city manager. We don't have a city manager anymore, but as an advisor on these cases. Those folks that are on the standing committee, if I remember correct, we've had a lot of talk about taking oath, will have taken an oath to the city to protect this in the confines of where we are. Our meeting as a standing committee can be both an open meeting, and I'm stretching it to maybe a closed meeting when it comes to that portion where we're actually talking about cases that are there. Also, in one of the documents that I forwarded on to the committee members, one of the documents, I developed a tracking system, and you'll see that we see S, C, D, C, H, and a number, all right? That number is where that came in at, okay, the estimate, and it doesn't list the person's name. All right, but it has a spot there for, and we're creating this document still, we're working it out. It has a spot there for all of the commissioners to put their comments on, to check that they've seen it, so that again, I'm not the only one that's making an observation here, because I was sharing with Commissioner Dusty Wild. I might see one thing one way, you might see it another way, and together, we put our minds together to think out what's the best solution for this individual or this complaint. And so I will say that, Mr. Chair, that this goes along with the territory. I've been threatened before. One of the cases that we haven't brought it to you, but came to the HRC, is a case of a gentleman that was fired by the city about 10 or 12 years ago. The city had to eventually take out a TRMO, a temporary restraining order, against the individual. The individual felt that he wasn't heard. When I came back in, the individual sent a letter. He had been sending letters all the time to both personnel and to the HRC, to our mailbox. As I began to read this, I forwarded this on. I can show it to you on my email. I forwarded this on to the director as well as to our legal representation for the commission. They recommended that even though the TRO had expired, not to meet with the individual by myself, or not to meet with the individual altogether. We had sent the police out to his house, and I'm just want to share with you how deep it can get. We sent the police out to his house to explain to him that he was in fact harassing about 10 different employees of the city to stop. And the gentleman continued on. And then it continued on into other conversations that we really had no jurisdiction over at all. And so my job is to make sure that you are provided administrative support and that you are moving in the right direction and that I cover you. And when I don't know what I'm doing, I have to pick up the phone, and I will pick up the phone to give a call to our legal advisors, or I'll send an email to them saying, this is what's going on. How do we proceed from here? And they're there for that to give us legal advice about how we move forward. And so if there's a case, again, while I like the standing commission, because the onus now is not all on me. It's on us making a decision as a commission, as a whole. And so that's how the municipal code was initially written up, that the HRC commission would in fact take a look at these cases through the executive director. And we're gonna try to bring to you actual cases instead of some of the stuff that I get in that it really takes us down another road. So.
Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Dusky-Wild.
It was a good point made, because some of us may be meeting with these individuals. And so we need to think about the ramifications of that.
Yeah, it's important. And it's important to lay the groundwork now for it rather than after it happens. I do want to address one more thing in your previous example regarding the Housing Commission. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people who were in the flood affected areas who are being displaced and who will have their rents jacked up after the renovations are done there. So I think it's important for us to reach out to that community and let them know that there's a complaint portal so that they can, let us know what's going on. They don't have to feel powerless. And then the larger umbrella of that is that should be one of our important uh, measures in this standing committee is letting the city of San Diego residents know that this exists. So nobody feels left out or that they don't have a place to sound off in.
I agree with you 100%, Chairman. And one of the things that I said in the meeting that we all agreed upon that we're the best kept secret in all of San Diego, in San Diego County. And so the hope of that standing committee, and I don't speak for everyone, but I hope that I do, is that we get out to those communities that have been affected by these different discrimination issues, that we partner with those other agencies, those civil rights agencies, whether it be law enforcement, other agencies. We partner with those folks in the Asian community and different communities so that we bring them in, that we hear their voice. And as I was talking to earlier to Council Marino's representative, we want to partner with the council districts because they know what's happening, or they should know what's happening in their districts. They also send out a newsletter to their, the constituents. And so we need to, in my humble opinion, we need to partner with them as well when we're going to those districts to conduct hearing campaigns, listening campaigns to what's going on. Some of the information we may know, some of the information we may not know. And this goes into our partnership with the district attorney's office and with the U.S. attorney's office to give us those stats and information that we need in order to be effective in the area of discrimination and also human rights protection. Again, sometimes people just want to be heard and they want to know that the government hears them.
Great. Thank you very, very much. Anybody else have anything to add? Thank you very much, everyone. Great discussion. And I'd like to turn this over to Vice Chair Tyler Duncan now to talk about our subcommittees, which are the work that we intend to do.
I'm sorry. Is there a reason we skipped an item before this?
Fundraising, right?
It was the legislative update.
Hmm.
Item 4.
So sorry.
Good call out.
I think that was me.
Yes.
Item 4. Well, I sent out to each one of you a overview of AB, Assembly Bill 817, open meetings, teleconference, non-decision-making bodies. And of course, I don't want to go over it word by word, but again, when we're talking about having meetings, Brown Act meetings, this is important as we go forth. All right, because there's a lot of changes that are going on. I'm going to talk to you a little bit later on this evening about the Brown Act and communicating. But I'm not going to insult your intelligence by reading this. I'm just going to say that please, if you haven't read it, read it, because it will affect everyone in the state of California as it relates to open meetings that are non-body, okay, non-decision-making bodies, and some decision-making bodies on how they conduct business and how we, in fact, use the telecom system.
Yep.
So it is there for your reading. And then we're going to get involved into...
Essentially, this was supposed to be part of Gerald Brown's executive director report, but because we had a cancellation, it was filled in that way. But you'll be hearing about this briefly.
And I cannot give you any information on fundraising. What I can say is this is what has been the practice. We on the commission, you can in fact fundraise, but it's a very, very slim or thin line that you're at, because you don't want to fundraise from anybody that's coming before the commission that's asking us to do anything at all. Fortunately, you don't have to fill out a Form 700 like a lot of the commissions do about your money interests and investments and stuff like that. But if you want to donate to the commission, you could do that on a case-by-case basis. Let me give you for example. since I don't have any other information on fundraising and no one has said no. For example, the committee that's for awards and those types of things, they can in fact, if you want to donate the money, but they're not going to ask you for the money. If you see a spot where you want to donate, that's fine. To pay for the awards, to pay for the flowers, you can in fact do that. But as a committee of the Human Relations Committee, you cannot ask for someone to donate funding to you and to us. We are a government body. And so we follow the rules that are there. And I don't want to see anyone go to jail. And so please, if you want to donate, that's fine. If somebody outside wants to donate and it's a large sum, please get in contact with me. And I will in fact get in contact with Chida, who will get in contact with the lawyers, and we'll get in contact with the lawyers and see if we can in fact accept funding. Yes.
Commissioner.
So I got an organization to pay for the HRC awards that we gave out for the Ruston. Do I have to report that or what?
No.
No? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so if we get back to subcommittees with Vice Chair Duncan, we'd appreciate that.
No worries, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and move into our San Diego United Against Hate Subcommittee. This subcommittee met on March 19th, 2024. We started off our meeting by providing a little bit of historical context about how United Against Hate Week started. It did originate in the Bay Area around 2017 in response to supremacist rallies and other actions that were taking place in the Bay Area. It started with a poster, essentially the Bay Area letting individuals know from those groups that they stand united against hate. Since then, it has made its way down through Southern California, picking up momentum in Los Angeles and coming to San Diego in 2022. So we started off by, again, providing a little bit of that historical context and history, opening up with conversation about what standing united against hate may look like or feel like for some of the commissioners, and then looked into talking about what we've done in the past. So we were unable to participate in the scale that we previously did in 2022 for 2023, but in 2022, we did actually author and move forward with a proclamation for San Diego United Against Hate with the support of our district attorney, our county district attorney as well, and Mayor Todd Gloria. We held a press conference in regards to that proclamation, and again, reiterating our response that San Diego stands united against hate. We also called a lot of action by sending out different invitations regarding events and a week of events that were held. Commissioners?
We're down.
Sounds good. We also sent out a variety of invitations regarding the week of events that was established from the San Diego, the U.S. Attorney's Office, as well as the San Diego Anti-Hate Coalition. Some of those collaborators and events consisted of a variety of educational events, social media campaigns regarding standing united against hate, education, again, regarding a variety of proclamation, hate incidents versus hate crimes, statistics, and then a K through 12 video contest on what standing united against hate felt like for them. So that took place again November 12th through 18th for 2023, and again in that November timeframe for 2022 as well. This year, the San Diego Anti-Hate Coalition and the California Civil Rights Department will actually be taking the charge on our efforts here for San Diego United Against Hate. The Hate Week will be moved up nationally to September 21st through the 27th. And we discussed how we can continue to support this major initiative. Ideas that were proposed were updating in regards to a lot of the changes that have occurred in our communities from 2022 as far as that proclamation and connecting with our city officials to get their support, as well as providing a variety of publicity and social media support there. And then we talked a little bit about maybe some of the ideas of would we want to sponsor an event or co-sponsor an event and what that would look like for training or education throughout our city. So very high level, again, providing that historical context of the actual campaign, our participation in the campaign, and what that may look like or feel like for us in the future. Again, some of those sponsors that we worked with previously included the North County Equity and Justice Coalition, NCRC, NAACP North County, ADL, Homeland Security, HAC, District Attorney, so on and so forth. So that is that. We have established that our standing meeting for this subcommittee will be the first Wednesday of every month between 5 and 6 p.m. Commissioner Fields, did you have anything to add based off of your participation in attending this subcommittee?
No, as usual, you killed it once again. I guess the only other thing that we really talked about is just getting a context for San Diego. Commissioner Duncan did a really good job at discussing the history and how it came from the Bay, but what does that look like here? What do historical trends of hate look like here? Where it's going, just so we can have some specific context of the people that we're serving. So what did it look like? Where is it going? And how can we stop it for good, or how can we jump in front of it? So I thought it was a really productive meeting for it to be the first and so quick. So
Yes, Commissioner Fields and Commissioner Purcell both did speak to the importance of having that historical context, especially if we're going to provide any type of education or training, understanding the unique composition of San Diego, where we started, where we're at now, and hopefully where we're hoping to go. So again, very high level regarding some of those initiatives. But those are my updates. I'll go ahead and turn it to the floor for any questions.
Oh, yes, Commissioner.
As Commissioner Brown, and I appreciated that, since the County Human Relations Commission is on suspended for a while, I'm really concerned that then they were getting every month, all the commissioners was getting a report from the district attorney on the hate crimes, on what Garrison we could find out. What obviously the highest at the last time was African Americans, then it was the Jewish community and so forth, and it keeps going now. The Muslim community is also. I think that we should request from the district attorney from now on that we get a monthly report. And I'm sure she'll provide it because she was happy to provide it for the county commission on the statistics of the hate crimes, the incidents, the breakdown, the people of color, religious, ethnic, whatever. I think that would be very helpful for us. And I think just by you requesting that we would like to have a monthly report, I'm sure we would get one.
Any other thoughts from the commission?
Only that's a great suggestion. Girl.
Will you speak into the mic, please?
Commissioner Fields?
I think it was the assistant DA that was honored at the rest-in.
Yes, Woodley?
Yeah, I needed to get in contact with him anyway about partnership ideas for my institution on the university side. So I don't mind taking charge if we're looking for that. Otherwise, I'll yield, but I don't mind asking.
That sounds great. I think the commissioners, as well as myself on that subcommittee, would definitely appreciate that support. And since you are an active participant, if you want to lead that charge and keep us updated, we can discuss that in our next subcommittee as well.
If I could add, a couple of years ago, I recommended that this subcommittee partner with our 18 business improvement districts. They take this message right to Main Street, San Diego, and all of these business districts are aligned also with our council district offices. So it makes for a great partnership between us, our businesses, and a lot of time our businesses are safe places where people can find refuge if they feel that they're being put up against, or so it's just an ongoing recommendation from me to include our business districts.
Noted. I think that that's definitely something that we can also take note for our community engagement subcommittee as well, as we look for solidifying community partners.
Thank you.
So how is this going to be handled? That you're going to communicate with the district attorney's office, or that of our request?
I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm not you, so I don't know how far I'll be able to go. I don't know how much cachet, but already have plans on bringing him into the class, the assistant DA.
Well, I'll give you his contact number, and then that way you can get a hold of him and give an official request.
Yeah, he gave me his information. I'm just worried about getting a yes,
Getting what?
getting an affirmative on, I'm so junior on this.
Oh, no, it's very easy. What you'll just say that I'm Commissioner from the Human Relations Commission, and that we have requested the hate crime statistics monthly at our meeting. Could they provide it? I'm sure he'll go then. If you have anything, just give me a call and thank you.
Would we need something from the city attorney also? Or is it enough to get enough from?
No,
Yeah.
it's the county district attorney has the most update because they also work with the police and the sheriff and get those statistics from them.
Yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
subcommittees?
Any
Chair,
other?
Vice Chair,
Yes.
just real quick to talk about this. I have a direct line to the district attorney. She's not only the district attorney, but she's also a friend. I don't mind using her to, not say using her, but using the situation for her to come and give us that. She will, in fact, I have no doubts, I've known her for years. She will, in fact, give us that information. She will, in fact, have someone that will come out here to do that. And so if you run into any type of, resistance or anything like that, please let me know. Because we are able to work from the line behind the scenes in these political channels to have a conversation. This is what they do. This is why they get paid. They get paid to give these statistics and defend our county as well. And she's more than willing to do that. So you're the youngest commissioner. That doesn't make any difference. You're still a commissioner on the HRC, and they will listen to your voice, sir.
Thank you.
Right. With that being said, what I've taken away from that again is that Commissioner Fields will use a variety of different resources to go ahead and reach out regarding receiving an update for the county and the city in regards to hate crimes, and maybe us potentially looking at that being something that we also report out monthly or bi-monthly to the commission. All right. From that, let's go ahead and keep moving on to our community engagement subcommittee. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for all of the commissioners that participated in this meeting, in the subcommittee meeting, our very first one. Again, this meeting took place on March 15th, 2024, and we have established a standing meeting the second Thursday of every month from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. In this subcommittee, we talked again a little bit about what our purpose is within this subcommittee as far as awards and recognition. We also discussed some of the awards, recognition, and events that we've participated in the past, notably our HRC awards ceremony and the importance of continuing to push that event forward. We discussed this being really one of the first events that we're going to begin to put some infrastructure behind, establishing a potentially a date as well as a potential location, and getting all of the information that previous Chair Rizzo and previous Vice Chair Gonzalez were able to kind of timestamp for us. So we have a lot of documentation regarding potential flyers. We have potential agendas. We have a program that's already up and running for the most part, just some updates. So really compiling all of that information and providing those resources out to the commission so we can see what we're working with. What does our framework look like? And then how would we like to update and move forward in that regards. We also discussed a little bit about awards and recognition in general, and that all awards and recognition should be funneled through this subcommittee, as its purpose is just that, to engage in the community and to hold awards and recognition. So we did want to discuss with the commission an understanding and hold in general conversation as far as moving forward any awards and recommendations as far as events, proposing those to the subcommittee, and then having the subcommittee being able to work collaboratively to bring those events and recognitions to life. So we'll go ahead and open some discussion for that just momentarily. momentarily. And then finally, we also discussed meeting of the minds essentially and being able to pull all of our resources together and get our voices out there. Some of the feedback, we went through wins and areas of opportunity with our award ceremony that took place in 2022. It did not take place in 2023. However, again, previous Vice Chair Gonzalez, she did a great job in capturing that information, and outreach was a major opportunity for us in that regards. So we discussed how we would feel as far as pulling our resources together and what community partners would look like, and trying to be able to develop essentially like a catalog or a address book of different community contacts that we could outreach to. So for our different events that we would have, we could reach out to for events that we're co-sponsoring or that we're looking for. And we discussed a little bit about what that may look like, feel like, and then infrastructure for how we would safely hold that information, as well as if it would be something that commissioners would be comfortable sharing, and what those points of contacts would look like. We had previously brought this to the commission before, and some of the feedback that we had received was that individuals necessarily didn't want to just provide that information to the commission, and then individuals, organizations, sponsors are receiving kind of like cold emails or like cold calls in that regards. I personally spoke to previously that I thought, there is, in order for us to continue to elevate our voice and to engage with the community, there has to be some type of outreach that takes place, whether that's a warm handoff or an introduction or conversations or things along those lines. So that was some conversation that was also had amongst the commission that we're the subcommittee that we're still working through as well. So with that being said, I'd love to go ahead and hold conversation and space around any thing in regards to the award ceremonies that we have standing, the idea of collaborating or sharing potentially our sponsors, and then all awards and recognition going through the subcommittee to ensure that we have consensus amongst the commission that is something we support as far as the actual event, the initiative, and collaboration. So.
Commissioner Murray Ramirez.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Brown and I missed the meeting because we were at the Barrio Station's 54th anniversary event, which I think we all realize that the Barrio Station is probably the heartbeat of the Latino community in the barrio. So I actually established these awards that we give out annually, but I can tell you that was a different time. We had a budget, we had casinos co-sponsoring stuff. I have seen it because I've gone since, and it has no bearing on the dedication of our past commissioner stuff. It'll be almost impossible for us to have without some big financial gains. We always said at the library because that was for free and we didn't have to pay, but there was catering and this. And in those days we had a budget, but I've come up with a great idea, I believe, that I think that all of us can participate. And that is, I'm going to go over it. Unlike you, these phones drive me crazy. I don't know how to do it. Okay. I'm going to go down each month on what is a celebration or observation. In April, next month it's going to
Commissioner
be.
Ramirez, I'm going to go ahead and take a pause. Just for a point of order, I'd like us to go ahead and focus on the HRC award ceremony or any of our standing.
But that's what I'm
events.
talking about.
No worries, but as far as if there's specific historical context that you'd like to provide us with, I think that would be beneficial for the commission. Going through a diversity calendar or listing celebrations for the month is something that I feel would be very productive for our subcommittee meeting. We did have a very productive subcommittee meeting, and we definitely look forward to seeing you at the next one. However, for the purpose of today's meeting, I would like to ask that we stay focused on the HRC award
Well,
committee or
I
any other
disagree.
historical context.
I think, and I already communicated to the chair that I wanted to give this report wise and give this idea that I have. I don't think we are on awards. I'm on the committee. I'm the originator of these annual awards, so I don't see why I cannot bring these up.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that we wanted Commissioner Murray Ramirez to share this during commissioner reports, as we had talked about. But I think since you've opened it up to discussing what kinds of things we want to move forward, I think it's good to hear what the idea is, and don't get into the minutia of it because we can take that before a subcommittee, but we can definitely talk about what the umbrella idea is.
Definitely. So again, I'll highlight the three topics that are currently open for discussion. HRC awards ceremony, any conversations around the community engagement or like outreach.
I have a
events
point of
there.
order. I was giving a presentation discussing, and now it's like,
Yeah.
this is kind of unacceptable,
wanna-
kind of disrespectful also.
I don't want to omit anybody's input in this. I would like to hear what the idea is, and then as long as we don't get into the minutia of it, that we can work that through in subcommittee, that would be great.
So Chair Thomas, allow me to reiterate the three topics that are currently being discussed under the point on the agenda of subcommittees for the community engagement and outreach. Again, those are the HRC award ceremonies, any type of community engagement as far as the creation of a document to share and to collaborate, as well as any historical context regarding those events. That's the subcommittee topics currently on the table. Anything outside of that, I would ask that we move to these.
That is what my focus is on.
Okay.
I mean, okay, let me calm down.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and Chair Emeritus, I think for the sake of time, we spend more time going back and forth than we do actually talking about the actual issue that's there.
Yes.
And I think that if you can list, because point of order was called, that you can list out in those areas, when we talk about community outreach, we are talking about those days that are important to the community that are on the calendar. And so we might be one or two or three of those, but for the most part, we can turn around, Chair Ramirez, and submit that to the rest of the commission so that the commission can in fact incorporate that in their calendar. And then, of course, in respect to what the vice chair is saying, that we continue on in the process of in the way that we're going now so that we can in fact end on time.
Yeah.
and-
Okay, so thank you, Gerald Brown. Let's hear the idea and let's move that discussion of the minutia of the idea to subcommittee, the next meeting at the subcommittee.
I think we all know that award ceremonies constantly change and stuff. And my focus and my concern was that obviously we had a combination of recognizing African Americans and also LGBT people. But what I wanted to go through was that, I'm just going to give an example. In April, it's National American Heritage Month, Paralyzed Veterans Awareness Month, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. May is Jewish Heritage Month, Mental Health Awareness Month. June's a Caribbean American Heritage Month, Pride Month. July, French. It goes on, these things. To me, instead of, I don't know where we're going to get the money, but to focus every month, before every month, we get you would get a complete list of all these different, there's breast cancer month and stuff. So I'm giving you an example, talking about community outreach, that this body nominates. So let's say it's breast cancer month. We all know health people that are involved. Where I kind of thought of this was Ricky and you had gone into the community and had given award. This lady acted like she got the Nobel Peace.
Yes.
It was the most beautiful thing. And I thought there are so many people like her, unsung heroes, and all of you know them. And so let us say it was breast cancer month. Then, oh, I know a lady that's involved in this, or someone that got it and has become a role model. Well, at the beginning of each meeting, not like the Ruston where it took, we would just say, this is breast cancer month, and we are going to present 3 certificates of accommodations from us, 2, 3 people, they come up, we give it to them. I mean, and we do this for, if it's Jewish thing, we do the Jewish community. We could cover the whole year, almost every month. That gets out there in the community because, first of all, for them to come here, I got to tell you then, and I think it's on the agenda, the reaction. I think that they had, for us to hold this at the city council meeting and some of them to get work. I had people tell me it's the highlight of their life,
Yeah.
So we could do this every month, very short, but it would take 15 minutes if we did it right. But every month we'd be honoring people concerning what that month is all about. and people would leave here talking about our commission and how they were recognized and stuff with unsung heroes. I think this is a much better way. It's not costly. And then we don't have to spend all this time trying to hustle to get financial sponsorship of an annual event. And then we're not only giving awards, but we're doing this recognizing so many causes, so many communities. And I think it would be a really positive thing for this commission and a new direction for this commission.
Commissioner Deskiwa.
I'd like to see a motion for that so that it's something that becomes a formal thing that we do every month.
I actually have a motion that we move forward
But,
that has to do with that.
As
So
as a member of the
Commissioner
committee,
Rahman.
thank you, Chair Thomas. As a member of the committee who attended the meeting with fellow commissioners, what we were trying to do also is streamline this process so that we can take into consideration all the other events that are happening throughout the year. I was the commissioner who raised the issue that in September, it's Hispanic Heritage Month. And so how do we incorporate those events and find a way that we can organize ourselves within the committee so that when these suggestions come to the committee, we can find a way to channel them, organize them, and make sure that it's more an inclusive process so that we don't miss. So we really do, at the committee level, we want to welcome these suggestions and incorporate all the events that are happening, the people that we want to honor throughout the year. But we thought as a committee that it would come to us first, that we would come up with a process so that we can share it back with the and have a discussion. Is
Right.
that what we were trying to do? I mean,
Yes, any other commissioners that attended the community engagement, if you'd like to speak to the point, feel free to do so.
I'd just like to say, we did go over the processes of how we will do things, and we also said that we would go over the calendar for the year, and we'd like to do things a year in advance so that we are prepared for things when they come to us and not scrambling. So we did talk about that.
Thank you. All right, so I had it in my chair's report, but this was a model, what Commissioner Murray Ramirez is speaking on is sort of what we did with the extraordinary San Diegans award that we did last month. And we would like to see that, or I would like to see that taken up by subcommittee. If we need a motion to move that to subcommittee as one of the things, we could take that now.
That is definitely one of the things that we spoke about, honoring unsung heroes in all the districts. We felt as if one district was represented this past month, and we would like to, going forward, have every district be represented in that
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah, beautiful.
yes.
So do we want a motion to move this forward to subcommittee?
What I'm hearing is that it's already a standing topic of subcommittee.
Okay,
Yes.
So I don't believe a
is.
motion
all
is
right,
needed.
great.
Yes.
I see right here is, we don't have a chair.
No, this looks like a dated description
the
that was put
chairs?
into the agenda, because you have an updated one, right, that has chairs and
Is this-
commissioners that are involved. So this looks like a,
Well, who's
I
the
guess
chair?
it is.
That's all I'm asking.
No chair has been determined from the subcommittee yet.
Pardon?
No chair
No
has
chair.
been determined for the subcommittee yet. That
Yet?
was also, yes, that was also reviewed during our subcommittee meeting.
Well, don't you think we need chairs?
we do, but the subcommittee will choose that. So,
Just had one meeting.
yeah. So right now, Vice Chair Duncan is sort of coordinating all the meetings, and then.
Oh, I apologize. In my last commission, the chairs would appoint the chairs of the subcommittee. I gather.
I think I wanted to come up from the subcommittee.
Oh,
Mhm.
So as a point of clarification, again, as documented there, I will be solely coordinating the meetings to get the next 3 meetings to keep them up and running, and then the subcommittee will choose a chair from that.
what did you just say?
Actually, two
That
co-chairs.
you're gonna, I'm just want to point out.
Yes,
Did you say that you're going to be, what?
coordinating. So
Why don't we just elect the chairs in the next meeting?
because most of our subcommittees have not had the opportunity to get up and running or full attendance.
Well, we're
or
not going to get up and
participation.
running if we don't elect our chairs.
Well, we can discuss that in subcommittee, I think. Commissioner Deskiwa.
Well, since Commissioner Ramirez has a list of all the different things that are going on every month, is there a way that we could get that included
Yes, I will, give it to Reverend Brown to email to all of you.
That'd be great, thanks. And
Thank you.
also,
Thank you.
I wanted to ask also that every month when we do an agenda,
Mhm.
we have the dates that the subcommittees are meeting and, you know, the last one and maybe the next one that's coming up so that, these are public meetings, right, that people can attend or are these or not?
Everything should be.
Yeah, they have
Public
to be
can
open.
attend
Have to be
Mhm.
forward.
They have to be,
They have to be open.
Yep.
In the case of the discrimination and equal protection,
That would be
we will go to closed at
Right.
some point to discuss the minutia, but all meetings have to be open.
okay.
Sounds good.
I'd just like to see
But
them in the
that's
agenda.
exactly right. I'm sorry.
Or a schedule, right, a calendar?
One at a time, guys.
Sorry.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Deskila.
either in the agenda or if we have a calendar
Yeah.
every month, that would be great.
That is a wonderful ideal, and it will happen from this point going forward. You will have, every agenda will have a list of when the meetings are going to take place, okay? To be announced, it will be there. I'm sure that I can get that from all of the commissions, and since the vice chair is over the subcommittees, he will send that to me, and that will be a part of the agenda. Just like, for example, our next meeting. It's
Mhm.
always on the agenda and what time our next meeting is going to be. And so that will become a standard portion.
Commissioner Roman, did you have something to add?
No,
Okay, great.
thank you.
I just want a point of order.
Mario Mary.
Oh, and this is my concern because I think that all the commissioners should play an important role. Is it my understanding, as I read here, that the vice chair oversees all these committees?
Just for their startup again, because we haven't done this for a while. We want to make sure that this gets off to a good
So-
footing.
So
So
I'm,
because he's
I'm
coordinating.
corrected if the meetings, if the commissioners want to elect their own chairs, that is possible.
Absolutely.
Right, thank you.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So what I'm hearing then from the floor is that I apologize for not being able to have the meeting dates listed on the agenda. I'll make sure that that's coordinated next time, as well as since in these subcommittee meetings, we did establish standing times and days for these meetings, that I will go ahead and make sure that that's also public information,
Mhm.
and that I'll coordinate getting a city Zoom link from our executive director so that they're also public facing. All right. And then just to close, on our awards and community engagement, I would like to reiterate that again, any awards and recognition should be funneled through in collaboration with the community engagement subcommittee there. We are currently working on building our infrastructure across the board for these subcommittees, but within the community engagement as well, so that we're able to absorb different ideas and be able to bring them to life collaboratively and with support from our community members and all of our commissioners, as well as making sure that all of our events are off to a success. For a point of clarification, I do also want to recognize that we are continuing to look at other ways, as Gerald had mentioned, potentially for fundraising and other ways of getting funds up and running so that some of our events can come to life as well. So, and that is it for subcommittee reports. Thank you for everyone who participated.
Thank you. Okay,
Mr. Chair, I do have a question of the vice chair. As
You
it
have a
relates
question?
to the point, collaboration with city communication department regarding social media, publicity and updates. I would just simply ask that if you're going to collaborate or contact the city communication department, that you let me know about.
well, it has to go through
Of
you.
course, yes.
Beforehand.
That's how it works.
That's how we've always done it. I mean, it went through Chida to them, and so, yeah. It'll only be
Roger
that
that,
way.
and I appreciate that, because otherwise China will come back to me.
Yeah.
And say, why is it coming up here? I didn't know anything about it. And then she'll hear about it in the meeting on Monday morning with the mayor.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we are kept tight, we're in communication, and we know what each other is doing so that it doesn't just get out of hand. I know that everyone has a relationship with someone in the city, but when it comes to the issue of the Human Relations Commission, and I'm not trying to micromanage, I'm not going to stop you. I just simply need to know what's happening, and I don't need to hear about it at 11:30 when the mayor's meeting is over with.
So I want to make sure that she looks good, that we look good in front of the mirror, that we, in fact, are communicating with one another. And that's what happens is when commissions don't communicate with one another, there's a breakdown, and then the commission just implodes on itself. So I don't want that to happen here.
Okay. Executive Director Brown, will you please take over with our Executive Director report and start off with our election of the HRC Secretary?
We were waiting for our HRC secretary to be present in the meeting. And so we have Commissioner Shabuko, if I pronounced it right, that is currently our secretary. We kind of said that Commissioner Chabuco would in fact carry on and be the secretary forever. But as things go, there must be a vote. And so, Mr. Chairman, will you motion for a vote? Or Commissioner Tabuco, would you have anything to say prior to the vote?
Other than just being the secretary for the commission, the last year has been really nice. It's been great working with all of you. I'm happy to continue, but if there's somebody else that does want to step up, like I don't want to, you know, I can step away for somebody else if somebody else is interested. I don't want to be like, I want this. You know, I'm very much open to it.
Is there anyone else who would like to be interested in being the secretary of this commission? Okay, seeing that there's none, can I get a motion to for an election of our continuation of Ryan Trabuco as our secretary for the Human Relations Commission?
I move that Commissioner Trabuco is elected to secretary for the coming year.
Thank you, Commissioner Detsky-Wild. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Okay.
Is that a unanimous vote?
With that, yeah, is it unanimous? If it is,
Yes.
all right, awesome.
Yes.
Everybody
Wanna
raise
thank-
their hand, maybe? Can see the, yeah, beautiful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the work
Great.
you've been doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Well, he's so fast on going through those bylaws and our history. It's like, wow. All right.
He is speed, he is sonic. He goes and we need something, he brings it right up. So thank you, Commissioner Tabuco. Next item on for Executive Director report is appointments and resignations. We are getting correspondence from the city clerk's office. When someone has been appointed, I get the letter that comes in, and the trouble that we've been having, or the challenge that we've been having at the city clerk's office, is once you've been appointed, to get you here to city council on the day that the council is going to be announcing your appointment, and to, in fact, get you through the oath of office. I get several correspondence when that doesn't happen. And then that makes me have to pick up the phone and call the chair, and then the chair has to call you. I send you an email and everything else, when we could, in fact, that on the day of appointment, that you're going to be appointed by council, that if you would, in fact, be able to take some time off and do that and come down and do your oath of office that same day. If not, we understand, but within the next few days, get it done. And here's the reason why. Because if you don't take the oath of office, even though you're carrying the seat, you're really not supposed to vote. You're really not supposed to vote. And you could, in fact, and I was over one board where the person was appointed, had a named seat on that board, no matter what, but the individual hadn't took the oath. And so when it came time to count for quorum, I couldn't count that individual even though he was present, and he came to the meeting because he had not took his oath of office. So please, I don't want to beg, but please make sure that you get there to take your oath of office in a timely manner. Otherwise, it prohibits us from moving forward as a commission to do the great work that you are in fact doing. Under the same umbrella is resignations. We don't want to see anyone resign.
The commission has been set up so you can do 2 4-year terms, which is a total of 8 years. But if it's during that time, for whatever reason, you have to resign because of personal reason or professional reason, whatever the case may be, please submit a letter of resignation to me because, again, folks come back to check that to make sure that you have a resignation letter. Sometimes that resignation letter, if we don't have it, it will stop you from moving on to something else in the city until we get that. And I don't want to seem like the big bad wolf that's, continuing knocking on your door. But if you can, in fact, get that to me in a timely manner, like the day that you thought about your resigning and you submit that letter, that would be great to have.
Anyone have any comments on the process of being appointed, getting your oath done, or the resignation process? Could you also speak about the 3 empty seats that we have? I think we have 14 on the commission right now. We have 3 empty seats. I know one is District 9. Are we reaching out to the council offices or the mayor's office to find out potential appointees?
We are. I get the applications in. And oftentimes the application says Human Relations Commission. It says another commission or board. It usually has about 3 different ways. Usually the person or the board that contacts the individual first will be the one that usually gets the person there. I, in fact, take a look at the applications. I turn around and say to China, here are the folks that I've taken a look at the application. I don't make the calls to the individual. China does, in fact, make calls out to the individual. They also touch bases with the council office to see if the council members have anyone else that they want to appoint. And then we go from there. And so there's a screening process that goes on the applications.
My question is, where are we on that?
We
for
are
those 3 seats?
in the holding space right now to get those before council. And China is moving as quick as she possibly can. Director China Warren is moving as quick as she possibly can.
Okay, great. So we do have 3 appointees that are waiting in the chute.
We have a number. We have a number,
Okay.
about 7 or so.
Thank you.
Yes.
The next thing on your,
Code of conduct, I don't have an update for you. The last update was very, very simple. They're working on it. And as soon as it comes out, we will in fact see it as it comes out, as they roll it out. It is out of our control. It is in the hands of the Rules Committee. And so as soon as the Rules Committee gets through with it, they will come in, they'll bring it before council, and then council will make a decision on whether or not this is what they want to accept or they will amend what the Rules Commission has done. So just to let you know, I don't have a necessary update on that. It is where it is at this point in time.
thank you. Okay, anybody have any comments, questions? Nothing? Beautiful. Okay, last thing is communication and correspondence under your thing, but I think we've gone through that and you have,
Some documents that we need to pass out as
yes.
I go through it. This is my grandson. He is my assistant tonight. So he's going to hand these out to you.
Yes, Commissioner Deskill.
In reference to communication,
Mhm.
are we, in terms of putting out the agenda, where is the agenda going right now? I mean, when it comes out, besides to each of us?
To answer your question, Commissioner Desiwao, it is going to, 1 is going to the director, 2 is going to the city clerk's office, 3, it is headed to the IT department. It heads to the IT department so they can in fact publish it on our website along with our minutes. Additionally, it is also published in the kiosks that downstairs as you come in the door is published there. It has to be published 72 hours prior to our meetings. We try to, once we have the exec meeting, we try to have that published by Friday. so they can in fact be published. So we meet that 72-hour deadline. One of the things that the uh, chair and I were speaking about just today, that it will go back, once we get the agenda formulated, it will go back to the exec committee on Thursday. The exec committee will have the opportunity to take a look at it, over it again, to make sure that it's right. There'll be another set of eyes on this agenda prior to it going out. Now, with that said, I've had folks that call me on Monday and say they want to put things on the agenda, and it's within that 72-hour time frame, and I can't change it. I just can't. I know that on special cases, they do have amendments that are there for council, but what I've been told is once it's there, it's published, that it's there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I'm thinking more in, well, thank you for that. I appreciate having that information. But I'm also thinking, is there any way we can get it published on Nextdoor, on Facebook, and maybe in the Union Tribune, in local papers?
Commissioner Diskey, while this is one thing that I was going to suggest also, Gerald, is that we should have an automatic scheduled post to social media from comms team. It can have the same link, but that goes to the agenda that's put up on our website, the city's website, and that should go out automatically when you send out the agenda. So.
Copy that. I will say to you that we have just recently added, Chair and Commissioner, we've just recently added a person in the mayor's office that their whole responsibility is for social media, and to make it so, all that means to me is that as I get it and we finalize it, that I also put that person into the loop, and that person sends it out to Facebook for us, Instagram, X or Twitter, whatever it's called now. They will in fact put that on social media, and I think it's a great idea to have a link where they can click that link, and everything will come up. And so I will make that. I have that conversation with Director Chada Warren Dartmy tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Sure. Great idea.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been posting it on Nextdoor when I can't remember to do.
Nextdoor. The thing about Nextdoor, and I'm not making any excuses, but Nextdoor is usually towards, they have their neighborhoods, if I remember correctly. And I don't know exactly, and maybe you do, how we can get it on all the Nextdoors in the city, but I'm sure there's someone that can work that out.
Yeah, there's an option for anyone being able to look at it on or off Nextdoor. I'm not sure how well it's working, but that's usually.
Your social media person should know that. If not, then we should look into it. But Commissioner
What
Roman.
about sharing the agenda with our district leaders that have access to the constituents that we would love to have coming to the meetings? Because I know I receive periodic updates from Councilmember Moreno's office, from her staff about what's happening. And I would love to share the agenda so that anyone, I know that I don't represent her district per se, but because I'm involved, I know her community well, and I consider myself also a member of the community, I would love to see that people from the constituents are receiving this agenda from the district. I don't know if that's even possible.
It's a simple ask, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
And the reason why we have not done it previously is because we have sent it to the IT department, and we've sent it to the city clerk's department, who's supposed to publish it out for everyone. We know that everyone doesn't necessarily look at what's going on. In addition to that, each council member has a letter that goes out to everyone, a newsletter, and in that newsletter, we can, in fact, they can put the notice in there as well.
Okay.
So I will talk to the council representatives, and what I will do is I have access to all the council members' email,
Okay.
and also their chief of staff, and also their workers. I will, from this point forward, I will send it out to everyone, and they will in fact know that we are having a meeting or we're having discussions about these different things. portion of the outreach, as we talked about with Vice Chair, is the fact that we want to be able to go out to these communities and partner with
Right.
the council members' offices, of the districts that you're in, and we believe that this will make a great difference. Commissioner Ramirez is right, it's bringing people down here for the awards. That's great, but also we have to go where folks are sometimes and meet them there.
That's true.
So I will get that information out to the council districts. It has been
Commissioner
noted.
Murray Ramirez.
So much.
I think, I forget what the commissioner said, and maybe with you, Reverend Brown, that we're one of the most least unknown commissions, which is true. But I think there's a way, every publication, including the Union Tribune, and there's so many ethnic publications. I'm sure when we all go out, we see the Filipino news and the Latino news and the African American voice and viewpoint, so forth. They allow commentaries. And I think if our chair, and we all help her, write a great of who we are and stuff, that is such, and then they put it in the, and sometimes the language, and I put the gal, and then different languages, Chinese, so forth, Philippine. And I think if we come up with that, just letting them know not only that we're here, that what our mission is and what we focus on, and that they can become a part of it and that they can participate. I think that's what I call a public relations outreach. And I think that it starts with a commentary. And trust me, the newspapers love commentaries, especially that are different and from different commissions such as the HRC.
Thank you. All right. Got anything else, Gerald?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
One last point on that. You know, as you can tell, we've come up with a lot of great ideas. You have come up with a lot of great ideas, and now we must implement them. And that's where the proof comes in, is actually getting out to the communities and doing outreach. And so again, I'm blessed to be a part of this. One of the things I want to talk to you about this evening is on the list, communications and correspondence. First, I'll address the not so easy thing in the room, and that's correspondence. Any correspondence that you send out in your name should be in your name. You can write as Commissioner so and so of this, but please know that you're not representing the HRC. Any correspondence going out from the HRC must in fact have the endorsement of each and every one of you here. We've had in the past people that have sent out information and they have taken it as though this was the HRC approved, and it was not. And I received the calls on it from the mayor's office. You know, what is this going out? Commissioner Thomas, Chair Thomas, likewise has them, okay, you got to go through this process. And so please, any correspondence that you want to write on behalf of the HRC, please bring it to the chair's attention so that so that they can in fact take a look at it and say, okay, we're going to bring this before the body, and we're going to put it before the body for a vote. That's one area. The other area is the Brown Act.
Reverend Brown,
Yes.
but is it my understanding with all the commissions that the chair, especially because something is moving as on social issues and social justice issues that are going about, that the chair does have the right to make a statement as the chair on certain issues that pertain? I'm sure that before she would seek advice, be it from something that's going on in the Latino community or the African American or the Jewish community, because you've done this already before, which is the right of the chair. I understand if the commission's taking a position, but I do believe the chairs do have that right to issue a statement on their behalf. But definitely, I don't think any chair is crazy enough not to consult with commissioners before they issue, because I believe you have made that, and it's time pertinent, because sometimes we don't have the time to think, but you definitely, that's why we have a chair that's able to speak on issues that you would know, or consult with us, that you would know that we would want you to make a quick statement for the press or stuff on an ongoing topic that is that's a pertinent issue.
Yes. And we have done email votes also, so that's one of the things that will continue on and get everybody's weigh in on. But yes, I mean, Kristen Rizzo was a good role model for that. Shayna Hazen was a good model for that. So
Once again, I hear exactly what you're saying. But what I'm saying is this, so that I'm very, very clear. The body has to approve.
if
Someone,
it's done on behalf of the commission,
right, if it's
but that's what
behalf,
we're saying. We're not going to argue the
if the
same.
chair is making,
Yes.
and I'm sorry, Chair, if the chair is making a statement about a situation that's happening in the now, right now, the chair can say, this is my
That's fine.
opinion on this. This is not the commission's
Yep, that's
opinion, because we've had people in the past that have represented a certain body and the rest of the body didn't know about it. So the next thing that happens is I get a call from someone, and I'll use Commissioner Ricky Brown because she doesn't call me, except for every now and then. She'll call me and said, did you hear what Chair Thomas said about this? We didn't have a vote on that. And I'll say, no, what did Chair Thomas say? Well, Chair Thomas said that he represented the commission and the commission was going to do this and that. And then I'd have to have a conversation with you. And then I'd get a call from the mayor's office. Why did Chair Thomas say da, 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 da? Did the commission have a vote on that or say anything about that? And in a moment. And so what I'm trying to admonish us to be very careful when you're out there in front of the cameras or you're writing correspondence, be very careful. You can represent yourself. You can even say, I'm a commission on the Human Rights Commission, but I'm not speaking for the commission. I would hope that everyone on the commission would say or think what I'm thinking, but they as a body must in fact express this. And then you'll have another voice coming at from the chair or from the body itself speaking on that issue. And so
we're all in accord.
But Reverend Brown, in all reality, we all know how the press is. Uh, Commissioner Brown over here could be making a statement and say, I'm doing this as an individual, blah, blah. And the press will say, who is a member of the Human Relations? This has happened to me a million times on different commissions. So I think we all understand what you're saying, but I think that we also know that the only one that can make a statement, let's say independently, is the chair. And I think that the chair is intelligent enough to realize to consult with before she would make such a thing. But I wish that the press and the media want you know that yourself, Brian, having worked in that, is that the press will take advantage and say and identify you the way they want you. Sometimes very angrily, so it puts you in a bad position. I've gotten calls where the mayor go, "Why did you?" And I go, "Hey, they identified me like that. I didn't." So I certainly appreciate your trying to cautious us because it is very important.
I think we're all in accord. Okay, great.
May I just jump this quickly before Commissioner Brown leaves the
Yes.
script? The script is regarding either known or unknown absences from the commission. They have a dialogue in here that you can fill out that you need to send to me and send to the chair that you're going to be absent or if you know the date, they have one for that, date in the future, you send this over to us. If you don't know the date, there's a place for that, and let's just say it just happens. You don't know the date, so you're gonna fill this out and you're going to send it over to us. This is a way for us to stay within the perimeters of the Brown Act. And for us to know, because as you know, and I've sent this out to everyone, you can only have two justified reasons, or I'm sorry, reasons why you missed a meeting. You can only miss 2 meetings a year for just cause. Only 2 meetings. Excuse, unexcused. Usually the excuse is we know why you're there, why you're gone. But then there is also a part of the municipal code and the bylaws that say you're only allowed to miss 3 meetings. And this is why the chair said very early on, then we'll have a discussion on, you being on the commission if the commission is running in the time where you can't serve. We're respectful of time. We know that you are going to miss meetings and everything. That's why we said both script, know, and unknown. please fill that out. Let me also say to you that the commission likewise has to vote on whether or not they accept your just cause. It has to be motion before the commission that we accept the just cause because of immune deficiency or whatever the case may be, or that you're going to be absent for that meeting. If the commission says it's just cause and they receive it and it fits within those guidelines, they give you guidelines on this sheet, then so be it. Those are the two. If it does not fit within the perimeters that has been set by the state for the Brown Act, then that would just be an absence. It may be an excused absence, but it's still an absence. And so when the third absence comes up, we really have to have a discussion about that. And that's, again, that's you and the chair. My position is to give the chair the information and say, okay, how do we move forward from here? And what do you want to do?
All right. Awesome. That's it. Thank you. I'll make mine executive committee report and chair's report very short. First thing, we already talked about extraordinary San Diegans, so that's awesome. The Baird Rustin Honors. Let's everybody give everybody who was involved a big hand job, and thank you to Commissioner Ramirez, who brought this to us originally and has worked on this now for 8 years. I think this was the eighth year or seventh year. But it really was a great event, and I think it can only get better.
And I appreciate the mayor as the one that, usually this awards honor was not held at the city, but Mayor Gloria wanted it to be brought, and I thought what the perfect place with the Human Relations Commission. I do want to ask you, Vice Chair, because it kind of messed, you were supposed to give an award out, and then you refused to give it out, didn't want to give it out. Why was that?
Yes, so as a point of clarification, I was not provided with the bio in a proper or timely manner, and thus I was unable to participate. I was also not included in any communication regarding agenda, awardees, the creation of the flyer, or had any participation in that regards. So I felt that it was best for the commissioners that did participate in the award ceremony and the creation of bringing this great event to life to be able to move forward with that. I appreciate your point of clarity coming from a genuine space, and I'm happy that we were able to get that on the record today, that I really enjoyed the Bayard Rustin Awards and appreciate all of the commissioners' efforts in putting that together. However, unfortunately, I was not able to go ahead and present that award based off of not being provided those materials in a timely manner.
You brought up a good point, though, that would not all the commissioners informed and kept abreast of what was going on? So you see, I see. So that really concerns me then, and I now understand even more. And I apologize. I thought that everyone was getting updates on what was going on.
Oh,
I do believe that you reached out, didn't you, to that? I just want to make sure we don't go through this
No.
again.
Yeah, we will, I'll call you in a second. We will make sure that we are more clear on this going forward, but I also would like to proffer that we sent out several emails, 2 to be exact, but several emails with the bios of the nominees and then the awardees. So everybody did have that information. We then reached out with the agenda for that evening or the program for that evening. And with that, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, thank you, Chair. I'm going to say that I enjoyed the Byron Rustin Awards. It was a historical evening. I enjoyed everyone's presentation that they did. It was good to see the people. I did, in fact, get Vice Chair's text, that he didn't feel comfortable, speaking someone or awarding someone. He hadn't had the access to the bio. There were challenges, and again, this goes back to communication.
of us communicating one to another. I sent out a lot of emails, and so I apologize for that. But I want to keep you in the know, and then when we know that something's supposed to be coming, then I'm on the chair. Say, hey, I haven't got this. And then one of the things was the agenda. We were supposed to get the agenda because program. I'm sorry, the program. We were supposed to get the program Friday, and it didn't happen. But we got it on Monday. Because I would have published it if we had got it on Friday, so that the world would have known about it. But nonetheless, the program went off without a hitch, except for the podium, which I got whooped on the next day because they didn't get it back to them, okay, in a timely manner. So Jennifer Berry from the clerk's office found the people and they moved the podium out here. I said, hey, we cleaned up the place, but they were worried about the podium. Where did it come from? It came from upstairs. And thank you, Commissioner Emeritus, for getting the podium for it. Because if I'd have known about it, I wouldn't have allowed them to tell me no, they couldn't do it. So it shows you they can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But we have to communicate. And I don't care if you call me. I'm the executive director of the commission. You can call me anytime, night or day. Please give me some grace, as the chair has given me grace, to take a little time to get back to you, but I'll try to get back to you in a reasonable time that we can, in fact, get this information out. And it is my job to make sure that everything gets out to everyone. And I haven't did a great job of that. I can stitch here and say I haven't did a great job, but we're going to do better. I'm going to do better.
Thank you. I think the thing about the podium too brings up a very important thing, is that because we are the best kept secret, which I don't like at all, we there should never be that no with us. If we ask for a podium, find the podium, bring it. I don't understand it. We're not asking for things that are out of the ordinary.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I apologize to Reverend Brown because obviously I believed you, but I was so shocked that they would said no, and of course I made sure that then I called the mayor and said we want a podium. But I want to say that I will make sure personally next year. I think that if an awards is given out by a commission, everyone should be informed every step of the way. I'm sure things fell through the cracks, but even if I have to email them personally to you, because I not only believe that we all want to participate, but I definitely like inputs and nominees and so forth, including what's coming up on what suggestions and ideas for awards, accommodations, or whatever. So thank you.
thank you. Yes.
May I just say, Chair Emeritus Ramirez, I accept your apology, and I realize that you weren't upset with me. You were upset with the circumstances, and your righteous indignation stood up and said, "No, we're going to do that." And I'm glad that it did, because it did in fact get you the podium here, and it made the ceremony so much better. So I just want to say that to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, one thing, could you do a follow-up letter thanking the Secretary of the State, the District Attorney, the Mayor, and Councilman Woodburn for attending?
Sure.
You could. Thank you.
Okay. The next thing is a little bit of a difficult discussion, but we're going to, oh, did you have your hand up, Ricky? Oh, okay. We are going to move forward with beginning a discussion on the Jewish Muslim hate that's beginning here, or that is escalating here in San Diego. And we thought that we would take it back to XCOM for this next meeting to sort of lay out the parameters of it. What kind of goal are we looking to achieve through this, and who are our partners in this? And then we'll bring it back in our next commissioners meeting and share with you guys what our thinking is on how we would see this happen. Yes.
I would highly recommend we move very cautiously
Yes.
on this. This is the issue that destroyed the county commission. And this issue turned, probably in my over 55 years, I've never seen such an ugly and hateful situation of commissioners against each other. And it's an issue that is obviously affecting our city, the world. And this commission is not a international commission. And I can tell you the biggest regret of the commission is that we even people started focusing and allowing discussions of an international issue that does not relate to what this commission's mission is. Now, I absolutely agree on that it has affected San Diego and there's people trying to think, but we have to be very, very careful because there's a lot of, I mean, people aren't talking to each other, and Muslim leaders that used to get along with Jewish leaders aren't. It's just a very divisive issue. So I would hate for us to open up a Pandora's box. We certainly, I'm sure we're not all ignoring what's going on, but I think we've got to look what happened to the county commission and move consciously.
Yes, and I think if
Cautiously.
anyone has some ideas or partners that you would like to bring in, I think submitting that to Gerald or myself, so we can bring that into our discussion to add XCOM. But you're exactly right. I think, we're not looking to solve a Mideast crisis. We're looking to solve what's happening here, not solve, but address what's happening here in San Diego, and how do we live with each other. So, okay, last thing, that is the last thing on my committee report. So we'll move on to commissioner comments.
Yes, so I'll go ahead and move into the
Thank you.
vice chair report. Yes. All right. So I have 3 points that I'd like to discuss today. First, thank you to everyone who participated in the subcommittees. As a refresher, our goal for developing the subcommittees is to be able to really make digestible solutions and really tangible solutions for advancing our mission of promoting activities that foster understanding, respect, and inclusion amongst all San Diegans while protecting basic human and civil rights. So I look forward to meeting all the commissioners in our next upcoming subcommittees. With that being said, I also wanted to go ahead and acknowledge Commissioner Fields. Commissioner Fields held an amazing event regarding the Innocence Project on Exonerate at Point Loma Nazarene University. It was very well received and really appreciated him being able to provide that information, as well as collaborating with a variety of speakers regarding the injustice and the wrongful incarceration that has taken place really across America. So do want to go ahead and give a shout out to Commissioner Fields in that regards. Additionally, in my collaboration with the San Diego Anti-Hate Coalition, I did want to go ahead and highlight that the San Diego Anti-Hate Coalition and the U.S. District Attorney's Office does have an event coming up on April 4th in San Marcos regarding protecting houses of worship. It'll be taking place Tuesday, April 4th between 11:30 a.m. and 1 p.m. And in our collaboration with the San Diego Anti-Hate Coalition and U.S. Attorney's Office on San Diego United Against Hate, I would love if we can continue to support and really understand how they are successfully being able to pull these events off as well. So those are my 3 points for my report. Thank you so much.
Would you like to? Okay.
Secretary Trubico?
Thank you. Yeah, just a couple of things. I want to give Vice Chair Duncan kudos and props for all the work that you did on the subcommittee work. That was a labor of effort, and thank you so much for all the effort that you put into that. Another point that I want to hit on is our Commissioner Ricky Brown put her name on the ballot for county committee and was the top vote getter in the 79th Assembly District. So I wanted to give her some props for that and congratulations again. And then just this past weekend, Commissioner Chair Emeritus Ramirez and I went to a celebration of life for Jerry Dilno, who was a longtime pioneer in the LGBTQ community. And it was a celebration of life. It was a very nice celebration of life. And she did so much work in terms of organizing the first Pride Parade in Philadelphia when she moved there, and then came back to San Diego and then helped organize the first Pride Parade here in San Diego. She was the first executive director.
No.
Oh,
No, she organized the first permitted parade. The first one was,
Okay.
the police department in 1964 rejected us because we were perverts and would not issue us a parade permit, but we marched anyway. Jerry helped with Attorney Tom Holman and
Mhm.
Jess Jessup to get the permit the second time. So I'm really stickler on history because that changes. But she definitely played a big part, not only in the LGBT community, but in the women's community. She made it into the Women's Hall of Fame here in San Diego. But know your history.
Absolutely.
Good.
That's why it's important to know. And I had notes here and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's right, but I'm sure I'll be corrected on that. But anyway, yeah, Jerry, and of course, Jerry, a couple of years ago was honored with an honorary street name in Hillcrest North Park, honorary Jerry Dilno Way. So I just wanted to recognize her here. I think the city council already adjourned one of their meetings in her memory, so I wanted to take an opportunity to see if we could adjourn in her memory for this commission meeting as well.
Thank you, Secretary Trabucco. Okay, Commissioner Diaz-Roman? Anything for your commissioner report? Anything that's happening in your community that you want to share with us?
Not at this time, but thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to working as a member of this new committee and to see
Love
how
it.
it evolves and grows and to see what we can do together.
Okay,
Thank you.
Commissioner Walker?
Nothing at this time to report.
Thank you. Commissioner Detsky-Wild?
No report, but I want to thank everyone for the work they've been doing. It's really memorable, and thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
I just want to say that I feel very good and confident in the way we're moving forward as to where we have been before, and I'm very excited about that. And also that I received the invitation to the Somali Bantu Association of America's Iftar Dinner on March 27th at the UDW Hall, so I'll be attending that.
That's March 24th
I think it's 27th.
or 27th.
Yeah, 27th.
Do we want to reach out to the mayor's office and see about delivering a proclamation or a certificate while you're there?
That'd be wonderful.
Okay. Can you check into that tomorrow and then let's see how we can push towards getting that done?
Commissioner Brown.
And it's those kinds of things that if you can send ahead of time, if you know you're attending something, let's do it. Commissioner Murray Ramirez has some certificates.
Yeah, actually, this is what I can do, and I'll definitely underwrite it. Why this is a good idea, and all due respects to the mayor's office, this comes from this commission. So what I can arrange is this commission can use the city seal as long as it votes on this recognition, and I can get you a plaque that says City of San Diego's Human Relations Commission. So that way the award is from us. The mayor, and God bless him, does give out all kinds of awards, but since you brought this up and it's a commission award, it should say the commission. So I'll help you with that.
Thank you.
No disrespect intended, but just a point of order. Before we use the city seal, I do have to get approval for that. Anything that we send out that has the city seal on it and is representing this commission, this is still a city commission. And I still have to go and say to the powers that be, can I get that? I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I have to at least ask the question first and on what we can in fact use the seal on. It has to be approved. I don't think that Director Chado will, disapprove it or anything like that. But again, I have some things that I have to follow. And likewise, the commission has to follow instead of just putting it out there. I know we want to do that, but we just can't use the city seal on.
Okay, so you'll check on that tomorrow. And then also, one
Rep-
second,
no,
Commissioner,
but this is
Commissioner
like-
Murray Ramirez.
I know.
Maybe there's also another way that we could comb the archives and see what the placement of that is, because obviously having a resource here who has a lot of history with this has some And so I
But-
think maybe if we could
But
find it to back it up.
and all due respect, Reverend Brown, I would not be giving or saying that this would, without having the permission, that all I do is give a phone call, not to brag or anything, and I wouldn't be doing this without approval, of the mayor's office.
Right.
I appreciate that, Chair Emeritus. However, I have to go through the process because I don't know as much as you do in relation to or have the connection. So I have to make sure that everything is done right and that nothing falls back on the commission. And I'm held accountable for these things as your executive director. So if I would lead you down the wrong path and let you go down the wrong path, I'm just as guilty. And my superiors, who are very grace, have a lot of grace, they will come back and let me know this. And so 5 years of being here with the city, I've learned that I have to get the approval before I can move forward. And what I'm saying is not that we're not going to get the approval. We may in fact get the approval. I'm almost 99% sure, but I have to ask that question. And then the other thing is this, Commissioner Brown, if you can send me something for this, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, all awards now are online. You have to submit online. I can in fact do that. I have to go to online to submit requests for awards, excuse me. And that's so that we can track the awards and that we're making sure that they are in fact getting out. Because we did have a problem. 'Cause there were awards over here, awards over there. And so the city now wants us to track every award that the city is giving out because again, this goes into a statistic that says the city of San Diego has given out X amount of awards every year and they don't want to be cheated. They want to know for sure. And so again, while we are a commission, we are a city commission. And again, I agree with you. I believe in cutting out all the minutia and getting directly to the issue. But as a city person, personnel, I must in fact say to us that let's try to do it the right way.
Well, Executive Director Round, you're going to check on it tomorrow. I think this is a good conversation also for our subcommittee to talk about and
Yeah,
figure out what the
absolutely,
path is.
because this commission, and definitely I will get the approval of it, this commission has history of giving out its own awards
And we have,
and certificates. It's a history there. But I withdraw, you work with, Ricky, work with Reverend Brown on this.
thank you. We appreciate that. And I think we have a good secretary also who will find some historical context for this and we can move forward. All right, with that, I'd like to call for adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. We got a first and a second.
Also moved by Commissioner Deswan. Who's second? Who's
Oh,
second? That motion?
second.
Okay.
I apologize.
Actually, this was a first
I
and that was a
apologize, but
second, but,
we had a request to adjourn,
In
with the
memory.
memory.
Oh,
excuse me?
We
yes.
had a request to adjourn with the memory of,
Jerry.
Jerry, yeah.
Jerry Dilno, yeah.
Oh, okay. How do you want to make that?
Commissioner Trabuco, would you like to make that motion?
Sure. Motion to adjourn in memory of Jerry Dilno.
Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you.
A second.
Thank you. And we're adjourned. Okay, we're adjourning in honor of Jerry Dildo. Yeah. Never done that.